Hello, comic book guys and gals, and welcome to Comic Mag Musings. This fella's your host, Bill Miller. Super excited because we have another 5 spec books for you today. These are all very much under the radar. Books that not a lot of folks are talking about. Ones that at least 4 of the 5 you can get ridiculously cheap. And I think they may be worth a gamble. So, let's start showing and telling our speculation books. We've got Plutona number 1. This is from 2015. Writing and art by Jeff Lemire. The cover is by Emmy Lennox. And this is a coming-of-age story about 5 kids who discover the body of a dead superhero. It's been optioned for a movie, but I don't know where that's at because it's still really cheap. You can get this, here's a second copy, for between $3 and $5 all day long. And Jeff Lemire wrote Sweet Tooth, and that's done very well, I believe. Obviously, the book's done well, but they made a TV series out of it, and the first season was well received. So I suspect that they'll be sniffing around for some of his other creator-owned properties. And I think that's where Plutona has an opportunity to slide right in. There are 5 issues written for that. And with most of the indies, I generally only get the first issue. If it hits, that's usually the one that's worth something. Unless it's a really super popular one that's long running, then you might have other series, like other issues in the series that introduce different characters that are worth something. But for the most part, good rule of thumb is issue number 1 is the money issue for an indie. We have Death Be Damned. And this is number 1, the A cover. It's from 2017, and there are 4 issues in this series. Written by Ben Blacker, no joke, and Andrew Miller. You know it's got to be good if there's a Miller attached. Art and cover by Hannah Christensen. I got a couple of the A cover. This is about a woman whose husband and child are killed in front of her, and she's left for dead, but she's cursed. She cannot die until she avenges the deaths of her family. And each time she should have died, part of the curse removes some of her memories. So very interesting premise. This is the B cover right here. These are $2 all day long. You can get them on my comic shop for $2. And they're set in the West. It's sort of like a weird Western Tales setting, at least. So lots of good critical and popular reviews on this series. Any of the less than flattering reviews are usually centered around the interior artwork. But the writing is pretty strong, and I could easily see this being translated into a movie. All right, next we have Amazing Adventures number 18. The first appearance of Killraven. This is from, 1973, 75, something like that. This has great potential as a TV show. I think it would be hard to fit in the MCU, but Killraven is essentially one of the leaders of a post-apocalyptic band of humans who are fighting Martians who have invaded and essentially use them as a food supply. Written by Roy Thomas, Neil Adams, and Jerry Conway. Cover art for this particular issue is by John Romita Sr. And this series really hit its stride with Don McGregor as the writer and P. Craig Russell as the artist. But this would be the most expensive of the ones I'm showing today. For a 7.0 to a 9.0, you'd be paying $30 to $50 in that range. 10 to 20 for a mid-range copy. But this is an incredible story. I love the character, and I think if it's done properly, they could have a long-running TV show with that. All right. Our number 4 pick is Jack of Fables, number 1. From 2006, written by Bill Willingham, cover art by James Jean. And this is a spin-off from the Fables series, also written by Bill Willingham. Fables is about fairy tale creatures that live among us. Brilliant. I read all the trades of Fables. They made a video game out of it. It's been optioned several times, where it's had scripts written for a television show, for a movie, but it's never come to fruition. It is returning, though, Fables, on DC's Black Label, either sometime in 2021 or in the beginning of 2022. And Fables number 1 is pretty darn expensive. So I think a good alternate would be Jack of Fables number 1. This is a 50-issue series. And so if either Fables gets picked up, I think, and it does well, I think people will be looking to possibly Jack of Fables as a property that might be able to repeat that success. There's a lot of source material in there, 50 issues worth. And even if nothing happens with Jack of Fables, if something happens with Fables, I think this could be affected as well. And you could see at least a nice steady rise with some of the other Fables related issues, Jack of Fables being first and foremost among them. There's a second. That is the A cover. I don't know if there's a B on that one or not. So look out for that. Jack of Fables number 1. And lastly, we have The Fade Out number 1. This is from 2014. Oh, just to back up, $2 to $8 in that range for a high grade copy all day long. $2 to $8. Get on eBay. And this is The Fade Out number 1 from 2014. There were 12 issues in this series. This is another one of the Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips creator-owned series. And this is a noir murder mystery in late 1940s Hollywood. Super fun read. It plays to all of the creator's strengths. And Brubaker signed a deal with Legendary Television Studios to develop his properties. I have to think that this is one that would get strong consideration for development into a television show. So look out for The Fade Out, issue number 1. And these are $2 to $5 all day long. So those are the 5 picks. We have the Fade Out, number 1. Jack of Fables, number 1. Amazing Adventures, number 18. Death Be Damned, number 1. And Plutona, number 1. So I hope you enjoyed these speculative comic books, and if you did, I would encourage you to subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you're alerted as soon as I reveal new videos. Thumbs up and comments are always appreciated. And remember, we're taking over the world one comic book at a time.